Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to another Fallout 4 mod review. And today we're checking out a brand new weapon mod, bringing back the SMLE #1 Mark III Redux by a Ninja 6657. Now this is going to bring the classic Lee Enfield rifle into your game, and it's going to come with some pretty interesting features. Now, what's a bit odd is this mod features a whole lot of stuff on the mod page that didn't exactly make it into the final product, and apparently this project was disbanded, and rather than just letting it be and leaving all those files to nothing, we did get a partially complete version of this weapon. Now, by all intents and purposes, this is a fully complete weapon that is very usable in your game and definitely works, but it doesn't have some of the promised features that may have come with this mod if it got to reach its full potential, but we'll talk about that a little bit more later in the video. For now, let's talk about what you're actually going to get if you do download this mod. And, well, first of all, of course, you're going to get a brand new Lee Enfield rifle, as well as a unique version of that rifle. These ones are not added to the leveled list, but instead are added to unique locations around the map, and they of course do come with custom animations featured in the As X As version of the Lee Enfield. This weapon does feature support for bullet counted reload if you want to use that to get an accurate reload animation, and of course it does have some cool attachments over at the weapons workbench as well, but not nearly as much as it could have, as again, this thing is a little bit incomplete. Now, if you want to get your hands on this thing, like I said, there are two versions of the weapon, the regular and the unique version, although unique is an interesting word for it since there's only one version of the regular rifle as well. Now, if you want to get the regular rifle, you're going to need to head over to the Irish Pride shipping yard. Once inside, if you find the locker room, posted up in one of the lockers, you will see the Lee Enfield just sitting it nice and tight, ready for you to pick up. But if you want the unique version of this weapon known as the Kapyong, you're going to need to head over to the Fraternal Post 115. If you scout around in the top floor, you'll find a supply room, and in there you'll find the unique version known as Kapyong, which deals extra damage to human targets. And there's even a couple of interesting lore notes you can pick up and read as well. In terms of stats, here's what you can expect with the Lee Enfield in its most basic configuration. This thing has a damage of 45, it uses 308 caliber rounds, has a fire rate of 4, as it is bolt action, a range of 215, an accuracy of 73, a weight of 11.3 pounds, and a value of 71 caps. And I have to say, those are pretty balanced stats. It actually, I think, does less damage than the base hunting rifle, which is pretty interesting. When it comes to animations, this weapon does have custom animations, and it has a handful of them depending on which magazine style you choose. Let's start off with the stripper clip reload. Now again, you can of course download Tactical Reload if you want a more accurate reload style where you reload the actual amount of bullets that you shot rather than just the default 10 or 5 configuration. Now there is another reload style, which is where you reload individual bullets rather than using the stripper clip, which is perfect for something like use with scopes, so let's check that out as well. Now then, when it comes to attachments for this weapon, this is the area of the mod where it leaves me just a little bit wanting, as there is so much that was shown on the mod page that just didn't make it into the final version. Let's go ahead and grab a basic version and check out what we do have though. Starting with the receivers, we do have a handful of options from light frame up to hardened, which does not give you a ton in the way of damage improvement. It only goes up from 45 to 56. There isn't a powerful or even advanced version of this receiver, so you're not going to get a ton in the way of damage upgrades, though we can change out the ammo type a little bit later. You'll then see that we have nothing for the barrels and sadly nothing for the stocks, and I'll go ahead and show on screen now some of the images from the mod page of what we possibly could have had with this mod, but sadly again, this project was disbanded. I would love to see these attachments make their way into the final version of this mod. That would be so cool, but I don't know that we ever will. But who knows, maybe if you make enough noise in the mod page, maybe, just maybe, the author will get around to finishing it. Now then, we also have a section for showing off the different magazines and different reload styles. So we have the load half bullet. This is going to be 5 rounds, and it's going to be 1 round at a time. And then we also have the regular stripper clip in half. This is going to be the stripper clip reload, but only 1 clip of 5 bullets. Then we have the load full bullet. This is individual bullets, and it's going to be all 10 rounds. And then the load stripper clip full will give you all 10 bullets with 2 stripper clips of 5. For sights, we have a handful of sights. We have the iron sights, the glow iron sights, the short scope, medium scope, and long scope. And then we do have a zoom modifier, which is pretty interesting. We have 1 times, 1.5, 2 times, 2.5, and 3 times. So if you're going to use the iron sights, you can actually zoom in a bit further, kind of like the features in Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5. Then for damage modifiers, we have 0 up through 300%. So rather than doing the damage through the actual receiver, you do it through damage modifiers, which is not my preference, but at least the option is there. And then we do have the option to change out the ammo type from 308 to 303 standard British. Now, if you want to craft that new 303 standard British ammo, you can actually go over to the chemistry station and you'll find the new Lee Enfield ammo section where you can craft these 303 rounds, and it's going to require 10 308 rounds and 2 lead to make yourself 10 303 rounds. Pretty fair trade for a nice little increase to damage. Alright, now then it is of course time for the damage test. As usual, we have our lineup of Deathclaws here, and you'll notice we do have a good bit of them this time around. We'll be testing out the standard version of the Lee Enfield with no attachments and no perks, followed by a fully upgraded version using the best standard attachments. That's going to be the best receiver as well as the ammo rechamber. However, that wasn't a ton of damage increase, so I went ahead this time and I made one with the maxed out damage modifier on top of the other attachments as well. And then for a final one, just to see if this thing is too OP with all of that, we're going to use all of those attachments plus maxed out rifleman perks, which is going to get us to some pretty crazy damage. But who knows, we'll just have to see when we do the damage test. Now then, standard Lee Enfield with no attachments and no perks, aiming for the Deathclaw's weak point. Let's see how it does. And the answer is not great. This thing does not spit out a ton of damage. Hopefully we can put down this Deathclaw without reloading again, but I don't know how likely that is. Looks like we may have to reload just one more time, sadly, bringing us to a total of 16 shots to bring down a Deathclaw. Now, looking at that in a void, 16 shots of 308 for a Deathclaw, not the best, not the worst. However, the reload speed and the fact that this is bolt action means that it's going to take you quite a while to put down a Deathclaw. Let's see how we do with the upgraded receiver as well as the rechamber to 303. Alright, 5 shots in and halfway through the Deathclaw's health. Let's do 5 more. Perfect, and then in 10 even, that Deathclaw is down, so I definitely recommend the full magazine for this one, and you might be able to take down a Deathclaw without reloading. Now then, let's try out that damage modifier. That's going to make a huge difference, bringing us from 60-ish damage to 200. This is going to give us the real feel of a sniper. And with that upgrade alone, we are at 2 shots to kill the Deathclaw. Now I'm curious what happens with fully upgraded rifleman perks. Well, let's find out, shall we? Aiming for the Deathclaw's weak point. And the Deathclaw is down. Just like that. One more thing before we wrap up the video, just something I wanted to point out. If you're going to download this mod, the 303 version does have a missing texture on the rounds that are ejected. So if you'll notice, they do come out purple. It's a bit fast on screen, but if we go ahead and grab that thing mid-air, you'll see we do have a nice purple shell for you. I'm sure that's something that's really easy to fix. The mod author probably has the texture, but it just didn't make its way into the game. But I just wanted you guys to be aware of it, as if you download this mod, this is something that's going to be in your game. Alright guys, that is the SMLE number 1 Mark III Redux by a Ninja 6657. Definitely a very nice rifle and a very functional mod. I just wish there was a bit more going on in the ways of customization. Seeing what possibly could have been with this mod makes me really sad to see it in its current state, but who knows, maybe it'll get an update at some point in the future. Regardless, if you want to try this one out, it will be linked down in the description below, or if you're looking for a Lee Enfield with a little bit more beef, you could try out the original by AsXAs. Regardless, it is still a really cool piece of work and some nice stuff by a Ninja. Now then, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to drop a rating, subscribe if you haven't already for more videos just like this. Big shout out to all of my patrons for supporting every single video. And of course, a very special thank you to Astro, Captain Chaos, Helljumper, Indecisive Wolf, Jackie Noid, Cushy, Moonlit Gamer, Feed, and YouthRC for joining that Tier 3 Patreon membership. If you want to support the channel through Patreon, it'll be linked down in the description below, but it is completely optional. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace!